In 2013, the Supreme Court, in a case called Shelby County v. Holder, released 9 states and 55 jurisdictions from the obligations of what was then Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. If the Supreme Court renders Section 2 effectively toothless, then that will mean in just a decade, the Supreme Court will have chopped out 2 major portions of the Voting Rights Act.
Hundreds and thousands of Negro citizens denied the right to vote.
This law will ensure them the right to vote.
Section 5 required jurisdictions with a history of discrimination to submit their proposed voting changes for federal approval in a process called pre-clearance. In other words, discriminatory practices were nipped in the bud before an election even happened. As you can imagine, the Supreme Court's decision opened the floodgates. No longer did Section 5 prevent these jurisdictions from enacting what was called retrogressive voting procedures. So in the years since, plaintiffs seeking to challenge these voting practices have turned from Section 5 to Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 outlaws practices that result in the denial or the abridgment of the right to vote. It defines those practices as those which leave voters with less opportunity to participate. Whereas Section 5 targeted specific jurisdictions with a history of discrimination, Section 2 applies nationwide. It's a lot like traditional anti-discrimination laws. Section 2, by definition, really can only combat discrimination after it's happened, and presumably after a candidate has gotten into office and is an incumbent. The key is this: once Section 5 was struck down, challengers and plaintiffs turned to Section 2 because that was the only place they could go, even if Section 2 may not apply as easily to their particular fact situation. More importantly, without Section 2 or Section 5, what would challengers to discriminatory voting practices have as an option to challenge these practices?
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.